Guys, Yummy here again, and today I'd like to talk about 5 tips that you can employ in any first-person shooter game that will improve your performance in each one. And these work cross-platform as well, so you'll be able to use them on PC and console with some success. Now, for many of you guys who are veterans of shooters, some of these may seem painfully obvious to you, but if you're new to shooters, as many people are since the gaming industry is expanding greatly as of late, you'll hopefully find these helpful, and who knows, if you're a veteran, you might not actually employ all of these yourself. Now, the first tip deals with reloading. We tend to have a habit of reloading after each kill, and this can get you in serious trouble in Counter-Strike, where timing is everything. If you have anywhere from 10 rounds to half a mag remaining, hold off on reloading unless you're sure you're in a safe spot or there's too many enemies coming to kill with your remaining bullets. I was really struggling with this one, and you'll still see me reloading unnecessarily all the time in my Battlefield gameplay, but you don't want to be caught with your thumb up your ass when the enemy comes around the corner, which almost always happens when you decide to reload. Now, in Battlefield and COD, this tip doesn't matter so much because reloads can be so quick in those games, but you still perform noticeably better if you add this kind of thinking to your playstyle. Tip number 2 is to always check your corners in urban areas, which are pretty much everywhere in Counter-Strike. Yes, in Battlefield it may seem stupid since there can be tons and tons of corners, but if you move through rooms and alleys methodically and check the corners, I promise you'll be shot in the back way less, particularly in Counter-Strike and COD. And don't assume corners because you know the enemy's gonna be in the one corner that you don't check. It happens to me all the time in CS, and it makes me want to punch my monitor. What also helps is learning how to approach and go around corners, allowing you to get the jump on the enemy no matter which nook or cranny they decided to hide in, which has to do with minimizing the time the enemy's on your screen before you start firing, and that melds into my third tip. Tip 3 is probably the one that most noticeably affects your in-game performance, and once you employ it, you will instantly see an improvement, and that is crosshair placement. This was actually completely foreign to me before I started playing Counter-Strike last year, but it works in every shooter, and it allows me to end up at the top all the time, even in Black Ops 3 or Halo 5 on Xbox One when I go home, as rarely as I play them because I don't lug my massive PC home every time. It has to do with keeping your crosshair, that's the highlighted thing you use to aim on your screen, at chest or head level at all times. And what this allows you to do is it drastically minimizes how long it takes you to aim onto the enemy. What I used to do in Battlefield was I would look down a bit, and I figured this way I could see the enemy better because my gun won't block where I'm looking as much, but this technique did not translate very well into CS. After a few weeks of having teammates bitch at me about my crosshair placement, I started to use it, and it really helps, especially with the corner checking from the last tip. If you keep the crosshair at chest or head level and slightly to the outside of the corner as you move around it, when the enemy appears on your screen, you won't even have to aim at all, just pull the trigger. I highly recommend this method of playing. The fourth tip has to deal with grenades, and pretty simply it comes down to remembering you have them. Grenades can make the difference in a firefight. If you die with flashbangs or smokes unused in CS, you did not live up to your full potential that round. And in Battlefield, frag grenades can kill enemies, but also keep them from coming to you since they'll run away to avoid the frag. Any of these can be used to buy precious seconds in combat, which in turn you can use to give yourself the advantage. And finally, I believe it is said in Sun Tzu's The Art of War that a wise general knows not when to fight, but when not to fight. And that is my final tip for you guys. Knowing when to engage and when to fall back can be crucial. If there are so many enemies or you're in a bad spot, then fall back to a better position and give yourself as much of an advantage as possible. I've said it before, you don't get high kill streaks from learning how to kill. You get high kill streaks from learning how to survive. To some extent, in certain situations in CS, people will blame you for baiting, but timing is everything, and if you know a rush is going to run by you, don't engage the first enemy, wait until the last ones. It's just, if you have this mindset of knowing when to disengage and recover, and Battlefield may be recovering your health, it will really help your longevity, probably better than anything else in shooters. So there we go, those were the 5 tips that I had that work all across any any first-person shooter game, and probably most third-person shooter games as well. And you can use them as much as you can, and they will really help you stay alive and get longer kill streaks, and more importantly, help your team out a lot more. Now, a lot of you guys who were longtime veterans of shooters will definitely have been like, well, duh, a lot of times in this video. But sometimes just relearning the basics can improve your gameplay even more, even if you're already really good at shooters. Which, I mean, I like to consider myself pretty good at Battlefield, but even a year ago, before I started playing Counter-Strike, I was pretty good, but learning crosshair placement and some of the tactics used in Counter-Strike have really improved my Battlefield game as well. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this. If you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, this is Yummy. Goodbye, and good hunting.
Scary,